Good afternoon. Welcome back. It is Wednesday, October 17th, 2023. I've got a couple of events to talk about today. Um, and there's very few events that of real significance from this day. So we'll talk about 1998. Jeff Gordon wins the Pepsi 400 at Daytona. This event, of course, was supposed to have been in July of that year, but because of wildfires, it got pushed back to October, making the first time in NASCAR history back-to-back plate races would be run. And Talladega, I believe, was the following week, if I remember correctly. But nonetheless, Jeff Gordon won Daytona on this date. Actually, no, I think Talladega was the previous week because Irvin was injured and then Craven drove the 36 car at Daytona. So, yeah, Talladega had been the following week and then Daytona was this week. So, anyway, 1 year later on this date, Dale Earnhardt wins at Talladega. I believe this was his 9th win. He would go on to win there for the final time the following season. But he would sweep the races there in 1999, just adding to his domination of plate tracks during the 90s. So let's go ahead and talk about birthdays. We've got a few of them to talk about here real quick. So we'll start in 2001. Current ARCA driver, part-time ARCA driver, Mandy Chick celebrates a birthday. She's born on this day in 2001. Born on this day in 1948, but sadly he passed away in 2021. Former owner of the 62 car, Beard Motorsports, that'd be Mr. Mark Beard. Born on this day in 1979, he's a former Formula One champion who has made a truck start, an Xfinity start, and a couple of Cup starts, and that would be Kimi Raikkonen. Don't have any cards of Kimi, at least I couldn't find any right offhand. I probably got a couple buried somewhere, but we have a lot to look through if we're going to be looking for them. Born on this day in 1942. Now we're starting our card part. This is what you came here to see. Born on this day in 1942. He's a former NASCAR team owner, a co-owner. And he has won a Daytona 500 as an owner. That would be Mr. Mickey Stavola. Of course, he won the 1988 Daytona 500 with driver Bobby Allison. Overall, Mickey, with his brother Bill, have 4 career NASCAR Cup Series wins. 2 of them in 86, 1 in 87, 1 in 88, 3 with Bobby Allison, 1 with Bobby Hillin. They also have the 1989 Rookie of the Year award with Dick Trickle and 1994 Rookie of the Year with Jeff Burton. So we're going to go to 1966. We have a former road racing star who briefly became a road ringer in NASCAR. Ran a couple ovals here and there. Had some stints in the IROC series, but spent most of his career in the SCCA Trans Am series and the IMSA series. Mr. Tom Kendall, or Tommy Kendall, depending on what you're looking at. This was when he was driving for Mark Reno a few times in the Cup Series. He did have a couple races in 1991 as a relief driver for Kyle Petty, when Kyle Petty, actually, he only ran 1 race and almost won it, because he broke his leg at Watkins Glen in a crash before they put in the loop. And then Bobby Hillin, the regular replacement driver for Kyle Petty when Kyle was recuperating, actually drove that race. And then here he was driving the 7 car on the road courses for Alan Kwiecki Racing after Alan's death. There you can see the AK logo, Family Channel, and some of the other sponsors that they had at the time. So he just kind of dabbled a little bit. And I remember listening in an interview, Tommy had stated that the Cup cars were horribly unsafe compared to like the Trans Am cars and the IMSA cars. And he actually had an offer in the mid-90s from Robert Yates to come drive for him after Davey died. And Tommy refused it. He was like, no, these cars are just too unsafe. So, and I can't remember what, that might have been on Dinner with Racers podcast, but I do know it's a podcast that I've listened to in the last few years, and that's words out of Tom Kendall's mouth, not mine. That's what Tommy Kendall said. And our final birthday, born on this day in 1948, He's a legendary gas man for Dale Earnhardt. Also hosts a show on Sirius XM Radio. And he recently underwent cancer treatment. So hopefully everything will be in remission and he will have a speedy recovery. That'd be Mr. Chocolate Myers. He was part of that Wrangler group of the mid-'80s, the Junkyard Dogs of the late '80s and early '90s. And then he was, of course, on Kevin Harvick's team after Earnhardt passed. I think this is kind of a cool card. That's this Spokes and Spoilers series was pretty cool in '97 Racer's Choice. And I like, again, some of the card sets tried to incorporate some of the more popular crew members. Thought that was really nicely done. And, of course, Certified did have him. And look at that. I like that. Even back then, he was wearing a helmet, had the fire suit, the whole 9 yards. He knew the dangers. He was going to take care of himself as best he could. So anyway, that has been our birthdays and events for today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button on your way out. I would really, really appreciate it. So thanks again for watching, and we will see you tomorrow.